Have you tried starting a mobility routine but you feel something is always getting in the way? Here are the 10 biggest problems holding you back and how to overcome them. Once I figured out number 9 for myself, my results completely skyrocketed. By the end of this video, you'll have clear solutions to these 10 common problems so you can start working on your mobility and get those results. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably struggling with things like finding time to train, inconsistency, getting frustrating injuries, feeling burnt out. And today I'll guide you through these 10 challenges and the mental shifts you need to overcome them. And make sure and stick around for my top 2 strategies that help you overcome these 10 problems. So here are the 10 most common problems I see beginners make when it comes to mobility training. Injuries, burnout, distractions, finding time, perfectionism, procrastination, information overload, training consistently, lack of immediate results, and chronic stress and fatigue. Now at the start, I looked at these 10 issues as all separate problems, but over the years, I started to understand that really when I zoomed out, these were really 2 major problems or 2 major bottlenecks. In the first bottleneck, finding time, procrastination, perfectionism, training consistently, information overload, distractions, and lack of immediate results were all of the result of this one issue. In bottleneck 2, injuries, burnout, stress, fatigue were all being affected by this other issue. So once I understood the bottleneck, I just needed the process to help myself overcome these. The first process that I use with clients is planning workouts. When you plan your workouts, you no longer struggle with finding time, procrastination, perfectionism, training consistently, information overload, or this lack of immediate results. And setting a weekly schedule for your workouts is how you're going to overcome this. So very simply, you're going to pick 2 to 3 days a week. I generally recommend a Monday, Wednesday, or a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Earlier in the morning is better because you have the least likelihood of being interrupted. So a 7 a.m. tends to work really well for me and my clients. And when this is in the calendar, you get prompted and reminded, so you don't miss sessions just because you're busy or life gets in the way. The other important part of this first process is to just focus on showing up and doing something at your allocated time to train each week. So even if you feel really tired, just show up and go for a walk or do some gentle stretching. The magic is turning this into something that you do every single week, regardless of how you feel. You'll be shocked at how simple and effective this habit is because you'll stop missing workouts, you'll let go of perfectionism, you'll stop procrastinating, and you'll start training consistently for the first time in your life. And by simply showing up 2 to 3 times a week consistently, you'll actually start getting proper results. Now, to overcome bottleneck number 2 with injuries, burnout, and stress and fatigue, we're going to focus on process number 2, which completely transformed my own training, and this is auto-regulation. Now, auto-regulation very simply just means you train at 70 to 80% capacity instead of going to failure. And I totally understand, you heard influencer X say you need to go to failure to get maximal muscle gain. And while this is true, if you're not on anabolic steroids and you're over 30, going to failure is most likely going to cause injuries, excess fatigue, and challenges with training consistently because you're sore all the time. And here's a simple example of going to failure or using auto-regulation with push-ups. Let's just say you can do 15 push-ups is your max. So if you were going to failure with your push-up, on set number 1, let's just say you do 15 reps and that just smashes you. Set number 2, you're fatigued, so you go to 12 push-ups. Set number 3, you're even more fatigued, so you can do 10 push-ups. And then set number 4 and 5, you do 9 push-ups. Overall, you've hit 55 repetitions and you're completely wiped because you went to failure on every single set. Using auto-regulation, you'll train at 80% of what you're able to do. So instead of doing 15 push-ups on set number 1, you go for 12 repetitions. On set number 2, you hit 12 repetitions again. Set number 3, you're still feeling pretty fresh, you hit 12 again. And then set number 4, you hit 11, and set number 5, you hit 10. So overall, you've hit 57 total repetitions here as opposed to 55 and going to failure. And most importantly, you feel much fresher at the end of your workout, and your recovery is going to be much better over the next 1 to 2 days. Your workouts become repeatable. And repeatable workouts are workouts that you can do consistently. And if we scale this over a year, even if the person who's going to failure all the time doesn't actually get injured, their chances of missing 1 workout a week, for example, over the course of a year is much higher than the person who's auto-regulating. Because if I think that I need to go to failure every time I train, when I don't feel optimal, I'll tend to skip workouts. If I know I'm going to work at 70 to 80%, I'll still show up and do my best. So over the course of the year already, that's going to be 50 to 52 workouts that the person who's going to failure has missed as a default, and they'll most likely be carrying injuries along the way too. So when I first started training, I really struggled with wanting immediate results. I saw all these people online getting amazing results in 12 weeks, and I thought that I would have a one-arm handstand, a muscle up in that 12-week mark. When I changed my mindset and started playing the long game and just focused on doing my scheduled workouts every week, auto-regulating, all of a sudden I started getting the best results of my life by actually just focusing on the long-term processes rather than trying to just get results within that 12-week period. This is probably one of the most challenging parts of training at the start because you want to get to your outcome really quickly, but realistically you need to turn this into a long-term process to get real lasting results over the long term. So that's the exact process I used on myself and with my clients to get exceptional results with mobility training. Planning and auto-regulation are simple ideas, but not always easy to execute. But once you apply these ideas to your own training as well, your results will skyrocket also. Let me know in the comments what mistakes you tend to struggle with.